Question 5. Which of the following, if true, would count as evidence against the scientist's explanation of Earth's warming? So this is a weakening question. We're going to read the argument and focus on, of course, the fact that we're talking about the scientist's explanation of the Earth's warming, not whether or not the Earth is warming, but his saying why. So as we scan up, we might even just notice the phrase, primarily the result, and start there. But I'll start at the beginning. Scientists, Earth's average annual temperature has increased, blah, blah, blah. This warming is primarily the result of the buildup of minor gases in the atmosphere, blocking the outward flow of heat from the planet. Okay, you might want to draw a little picture, or at least make one in your head, depending on your talents. I'll draw a little picture. Here I have a planet, and here apparently there's an atmosphere, they tell me, and what he's saying is that there's lots of little gases, and that heat is trying to get out, but it can't, or not so much. Okay, and I'm going to say no, that is not why this is occurring. Which isn't to say, note, that there is or is not a buildup of minor gases in the atmosphere. Let's assume that I actually believe in these minor gases, whatever they might be. I just don't think they block heat. I think the minor gases may well be there. No dog in that fight, but the heat and the gas is over there, maybe too. Whatever. Okay, and there's the planet, and there's little people, and trees, happy little trees. Okay, back to the argument. So, what would say that the heat's getting out? And again, the Earth is apparently, not arguing about whether or not it's getting hotter, not arguing about whether or not there's these gases, just arguing that that's one is causing the other. Gases causing heat. Heat. Okay, so only some of the minor gases whose presence in the atmosphere allegedly resulted in the phenomenon described by the scientists were produced by industrial pollution. Okay, someone's feeling defensive. We never talked about industrial pollution. These minor gases could be trees burping, for all we know. So that right away. And also, only some, let's put it this way, just going back to the argument and judging it on the more convincing the original argument, the more we're going to be looking for in terms of waving a magic wand and weakening it. The original argument sounds somewhat reasonable to me. If it's gotten hotter and there's gas, and maybe that blocks the heat. So we need something that does something. And only some were produced by this is such a trivial fact that if you don't knock it out on the fact that we don't care about that, you should certainly knock it out on this. Dig on. Most of the warming occurred before 1940, while most of the buildup of minor gases in the atmosphere occurred after 1940. Well then, that would do something. It doesn't destroy it, but it certainly would be odd for the causality of the minor gases to work backwards in time. Put a little mark next to that. C, over the last century, Earth received slightly more solar radiation in certain years than it did in others. Speaking of dud, that answer choice tells me nothing that I didn't know or I don't care about. But again, it has that sort of banality and triviality that is usually a bad sign on a weakening question, although a great sign on an assumption or inference. So out. Volcanic dust and other particles in the atmosphere reflect much of the sun's radiation back into space before it can reach Earth's surface. Okay, now you're just trying to confuse me. That would make it cooler because we're not getting the radiation. And no, we're not talking about that at all. And that hasn't changed. We're trying to say here's two things that have happened in the vaguely recent past, gas and hot, and gas caused hot. This does not do that. E, the accumulation of minor gases in the atmosphere has been greater over the last century than any other time in Earth's history. Which side are you on? That is obviously saying that gas caused hot. Whereas, right, B is, of course, saying, how could gas cause hot when hot before gas? Again, it's not a knockout punch. It could be that no, it is kind of a knockout punch because it does say this warming is primarily the result, and most of the warming occurred before the gases were there. It's pretty hard to find a way around that one.